Bellvue, Washington. It's the first day of 5th grade. Everyone wants to impress Miss Ralpini, except me. I'm not really listening to her. Man, does that feel good. She says something about starting our journals. I'm drawing the Seattle Mariners logo on my desk. They're playing a game against the Yankees today. The pregame show starts in 15 minutes. My radio is in my t-shirt pocket, hidden under my long-sleeve shirt. In 13 minutes, I'll begin working the earplug cord down my sleeve. When it comes out the cuff, I'll tape it to my palm. Then I'll prop up my elbow on my desk, lean my hand against my head, and stick the earplug in my ear. Paradise. Suddenly, everyone's opening their journals. We're supposed to write about our summers. Great. My summer was like being sick to your stomach. First, you feel worse and worse. Then you think you might have to throw up. Then you know you have to. Then you do. I write, I had a wonderful summer. There's no way I'm going to tell her the truth. I try to think what else to say. I touch my radio in my pocket. I imagine that I'm the guest on Bob Barker's Mariners pregame show. Announcer, Anthony, great to have you with us. Me, thanks Bob, but call me Tony. My mother's the only one in the universe who calls me Anthony. Announcers, well, we'll just hope she's not listening. Me, don't worry. She thinks sports fans are lunkheads and time wasters, and she specifically told me that your voice makes her feelings ache. Announcer, thanks for sharing that with us, Tony. Now, tell us about your summer. Me, well, Bob, I had my birthday in June. Which is actually a lie. Nobody knows my real birthday. I was left in an orphanage in Korea. They must have just picked out a day. Not that I even remember being there. My parents adopted me when I was a baby. This birthday, I asked for a new baseball mitt, a remote control car, a Nintendo, and a gift certificate to Sam's Sports Good. I received 2 shirts, a microscope, and a new music stand, and a Sarah Chang CD. Announcer, Sarah Chang, the young violin virtuoso of Korean descent like yourself. Me, that's right, Bob. Announcer, Rookie of the Year in '92, an all-star every year since. Holder of single-season records in harmonics, trifle stops, and left-handed pizzicato. The kind of kid who always goes out and gives 110%. Me, that's her. Announcer, and tell our listeners at home, do you play violin too? Do I ever? Suzuki lessons started when I was 4, listening to the tapes day and night. A big party to celebrate when I finished book 1. Then came the violin camps in the summer, group recitals, more and more pieces to review, crossing the bridge to Seattle twice a week for lessons. And now youth orchestra starting up again. It's not that I'm so good, I'm not. Some other kids my age who take lessons from my teacher are way ahead of me, but my mother tells me I'm not average. I'm Korean. I can do anything if I apply myself. She can barely whistle, but who cares? She's pure American from Kansas. Nobody expects her to know the Paganini caprices. But me, I get up in the dark of my 45-minute practice before school with my door open so she can hear. Then I do another 45 minutes after school while my friends are playing baseball in the street. I'd quit in a second, but she won't let me. I write. I played my violin a lot. Announcer, that's one tough training schedule. Me, that's not all, Bob. My parents signed me up for my science camp all July, 9 to 3. It was practically as bad as school. Announcer, and your father? Isn't he a scientist? Me, right, Bob, an electrical engineer. And then there's my mother's grandfather, also named Anthony. He built the first radio transmitter in Kansas. They named me after him to inspire me. Announcer, both wearing the same number, so to speak. Must make you proud. Actually, I'd rather be my sister Kelsey. She's not named after anybody. She's adopted too, but from Peru. Talk about no pressure, except maybe to learn to spin llama wool. She's in 1st grade, and my parents still haven't made her pick an instrument yet. They say she wasn't not mature enough. They also probably won't bug her about winning her scholarship the way they have with me. I chew on my pencil for a while, then I write. I went to science camp and learned a lot. Announcer, what about leisure on the side, Tony? Me? Well, Blob, I went to the Mariners game, won, they lost, and we took the family camping trip the first time. Announcer, tell our listeners what it felt like. Were you nervous? Excited? Me, buying all the stuff at REI was fun, and learning how to set up the tent, which I figured might come in handy if I ever wanted to run away from home. We only went to the north of Seattle. It was kind of like a practice trip. We were on the right of the water. It was great. Then I found 2 ticks on my throat. Then I couldn't sleep because my sleeping bag kept sliding off my mattress pad all night. But the worst part was the whirligig. It was this girl playing a harp like an orchestra. It was in the tree at our campsite, and since it was breezy, weather weather that weekend, the girls' arms were almost always turning. So naturally, my mother had to say, "Look how she practices all the time, Anthony. A musician has to be dedicated. That's how she'll get into honors orchestra, and then the Seattle Symphony." As if she's a real person. My mother took about 20 pictures of it, some with me underneath. I hated the guts of whoever put it there. When no one was looking, I picked up a rock. I'm good at baseball, especially pitching. I threw it at the girl. It hit her. It spun and the whole thing around. But it didn't break. My mother must have heard the sound. She caught me about to throw another rock. I was under arrest. I had to stay in the tent the rest of the whole day. Talk about breaking the pledge. Announcer, for our listeners who may not know what the pledge you're speaking of, me. Glad you asked, Bob. Basically, it's like the Pledge of Allegiance, except that it's only for people of Asian background. And you don't say it out loud, but only inside. Announcer, could you give us a taste of it? Me. Sure thing, Bob. I pledge allegiance to Sherry Chang and all other Asian Americans that I will be quiet, hardworking, and polite, succeeding in all things through dedication. Announcer, so you, for instance, unlike the other kids, would never call Miss Raspini Miss Ravioli behind her back. Me. Exactly, Bob. Announcer, then throwing the rock, if I understand you, was breaking every commandment in the pledge. Me, you said it, Bob. I write in my journal, we went camping. It was fun. After the trip, we had more and more arguments about practicing. My mother said I should play for longer since school was out and I had more time. Naturally, she had one of the whirligig photos blown up and framed. She took down the poster of Ken Griffey Jr. with a bat on his shoulder, took it to my room, taped it to the room on my wall. And every day she'd say, "Remember the harp player, Anthony, always practicing." It was almost like I was John Henry in that song with him racing against the machine. Announcer, there's a trivia question for our audience. Who won the track laying race between John Henry and the machine? Me, the machine. We sang it last year. John Henry dies. Announcer, you, Tony, were in the spot. Tell us what happened. Me, I didn't die or I wouldn't be here, Bob. Instead, I dropped out of the race. My mother started working part-time. I was supposed to tape my practices when she was gone. She didn't always get around to listening to the tapes right away. Sometimes they'd pile up. I'd tell her I'd practiced and give her a tape from a few days before. I was supposed to be working on this piece for the big recital in August. I just sort of quit. I tried not to think about it. I told my mother I'd be playing something I'd already knew at the recital. I'd gotten away with the tape, so why not? When I told her I was going to the park down the street, I was really on the Ronnie Sneed, sneaking under the country club fence looking for golf balls. We'd clean them up and sell them to a junk shop. Then we'd use the money to play video games or buy candy or go to the movies. He's the one who taught me how to buy one ticket and see all the different movies at the multiplex, including Death of a Stripper rated R, which is where one of the theater guys found us. Naturally, he called our parents. This was the day before the recital. I got up to sharpen my pencil. Then I wrote, I played Bach, Gauvet, and D major at a recital last week, which is much of a lie as the rest of my journal. My teacher, Mr. Mintz, was accompanying me on the piano. I could tell he knew I wasn't ready to by how slowly he started us off. Even so, right away, I forgot the two grace notes. Then I messed up on the trill and the G sharp. Mr. Mintz started again, but I actually played worse than the second time. My hands were sweating and the strings felt slippery. I forgot to play the repeat. Then I forgot the bowing. Then I forgot the notes. It was like a car breaking down. We quit without even playing the second section. People made themselves clap. My mother just looked down at the floor. Wow. Announcer. Wow, a new American League record for errors committed in a single composition. Must have been tough facing the fans after that. Me. Let's just say we didn't stay for refreshments. Announcer. Guess you just have to put it back behind you and work twice as hard to get your new skills up to Major League standards. Me. Actually, Bob, that's not how it worked out. I had a long talk with Mr. Mintz alone. He's an old man. He didn't seem mad at me. I told him everything, even about the whirligig. Then he called my mother into the room. He told us this Chinese saying about how the rest gives you strength and activity. That's why there's night after day, and winter after summer, and the plants stop growing. He said the whirligig worked the same way. If it turned all the time without stopping, it would break. Announcer, do you remember Coach Mintz's exact word? Me. You bet, Bob. The harp player plays her harp, then she rests, then she plays again. He said he thought it was an excellent idea to have a picture of a whirligig on the wall to remember this. Then he looked at my mother and said, after speaking with Tony, I believe that he's ready for a rest. I had broken the pledge. Now my mother broke hers. After Mr. Mintz talked to her alone, she actually let me quit violin. She was also promised she wouldn't talk about the 6th grade scholarship award. It was wonderful. Almost too good to be true. But that's the thing about throwing up. It's yucky, but then you feel a lot better. I stared at my journal, then I write, the summer turned out to be pretty good. I don't have to be the best anymore. I celebrated by erasing the E in pretty and put an I. We don't get graded for spelling in our journals. I look at the word and almost crack up. Then I look at the clock. The pre-game show is starting. I pretend to scratch under my shirt and start feeding the cord down my sleeve. Announcer, that's one heck of a plan with an earplug and all. I'd say maybe you take after the famous great-grandfather of yours after all. Me, thanks, Bob. Maybe you're right.